Alright guys, Hayzink here, welcome back to the channel for another Street Fighter Duel video. So, I wanted to talk about this and get this off my chest and have it in its own solo video so that I can kind of gauge the community's thoughts and kind of share my own feelings on this just in its own standalone video, right? So, obviously this homecoming adventure is now finished, right? And part 2 looked a little bit familiar, right? So, can I zoom out? No, I can't, right? So, in part 2, one of the things that was noticed was there was a shopkeeper that was right here, where I'm about to stand, right? And this shopkeeper was someone you could either side with or not side with against Blanca, who was up here. And it seemed very familiar, right? As well as that, there was also this house down here, where if you spoke to Sakura, you found out about something called an eternal lamp with a flame that you were to activate using this volcano. Okay, that seems very familiar, okay? To those of you that didn't know, this was something that happened in Vega's event, right? Then we got part 3, which was today, and we went through here. And at this point, it became clearly apparent that what they'd done was, if you look down here, they had just straight up copy-pasted a different event. Now, is that a big deal? I suppose it depends on your point of view, probably not, right? But the thing that gets me is they copied and pasted an event from 2 months ago. Like, they didn't even copy paste an event from 6 months ago, a year ago. They copy pasted an event from literally 2 months ago, which was the Visconde Vega event. Maybe it was 3 months ago, I don't remember when Visconde Vega was. The first anniversary, so what was that? End of February? So yeah, it was like 2 months ago, right? So, I mean, it's absolute peak laziness, right? Now, the other thing that kind of dawned on me during the event, or at the end of the event, was obviously this homecoming adventure was at least at the end of the crossover event. This was like a continuation of that story. So, we did the crossover event, and then after the crossover event, we got the homecoming adventure. So, at the end of the crossover event, you are on the waterfront or whatever it is, the sea, with a wee boat. You go to the last island and you see Bison standing, and then Bison runs away basically, and you've got to fight Evil Ryu. And then it says we've still got to go and take on Shredder and Bison and all the rest of it. Where was Bison? Like, where was the Bison fight? We didn't fight Bison during this event. I mean, if you think about the way it built up, right? We fought Jury, then we fought Sagat. Evil Ryu took the place of Bison, who ran away. Then in this event, it started off, we fought Balrog, one of the Shadow Blue Kings. We done all that stuff. And then it finishes with us fighting a grunt. There was no mention of Bison. What did they do with this event? I don't understand what they did with this event. Now, I'm not saying we play Street Fighter for peak storytelling or anything like that, right? We certainly don't. We more often than not, most of us play it for rewards, right? That's what we play it for. And I'm not going to argue, we got decent rewards, okay? From the tickets, I needed, all I basically needed for this event to be a success for me was to pull one more copy of Donatello randomly. As long as I pulled one more copy of Donatello randomly, it meant that through the rest of the rewards I would get during the end of the event, I would get 2 boxes, and those 2 boxes would enable me to get Donatello to SSS plus 5, okay? I didn't care about getting Raphael. From those 30 tickets that we just got, I just happened on my very last pull to pull a Donatello and a Raphael. So I've got my Raphael to SSS 5, and I've got my Donatello to SSS 4, and I've got 1 spare. So through the rewards from ranking on the leaderboard and from the final stage that we've got to do, I'm going to have enough tickets to get Donatello to SSS 5. So that's great, I'm happy with that, right? That's fine. But the issue I've got right now is the fact that it's just absolute peak laziness, and I don't understand it. Like, you've got all these new eyes potentially on the product who have came in for the Street Fighter Duel crossover with the Turtles. Awesome. But if those people are members of the Discord and etc., they're going to see people saying, wait a minute, we've done this before, this is lazy, this is a copy paste, oh my god, why are events all copy pasting all the time, blah blah blah, right? It's something that people already speak about, but I don't think we've actually seen a copy paste that's as bad as this. It is just so ridiculously bad, and not only that, part of it didn't even work. If you watch my guide video, I mean, fair enough, it was easy enough to work it out how to do it, right? But they've literally got a red switch there that does nothing. It doesn't do anything. Like, if you go down to the bottom floor and you stand on the switch activating the red laser, you should be able to just go up the stairs, pull that switch, it turns off the laser, you go back downstairs. That's all you should need to do. But it doesn't work. So you have to reset the region, and you can still get round it, right? But it doesn't work. So they've copy pasted something, and they've not even made sure that the bloody thing works. So they've copy pasted an event, it doesn't work properly, and they haven't even finished their own story that they started in the previous event. What is the point in that? Like, of all the gripes to have in the game, I understand that this is minor, right? And I'm not at all claiming that it's a big deal. I'm not, right? And I'm not saying that this event is now suddenly bad or anything because of that, right? But, I mean, it's just absolute peak laziness. And the thing is, people are already annoyed that we don't get enough event variation. And the thing that bugs me is, see, technically speaking, there is actually things available that we haven't ever had, right? If you go and play SEA, here, right, explore global operations, see these things here, they've got different maps. So if you click on, I believe it's this one, for them, it's totally different. This one as well is totally different. They could lift those maps and just change text or whatever, and they could put them in, and they could be new puzzles that we do. If they want to do the whole puzzle thing, they could do it. They can take them from here. So why they've copy pasted something that was like 2 months ago, I don't understand it. It's like so lazy. It is so lazy, and while I don't think it's any reflection of where the game's at, I just feel like they've put in so little effort to this second part, and I don't understand why. I'm looking for more variation, I'm looking for more modes, I'm looking for things to improve. I'm making, like, in other Discords and stuff, or in private chats with community managers, I make, like, suggestions that I feel like are easy to implement. They're not difficult, right? They're not. Some of these things that I've suggested are super simple that they could do. But now I'm thinking they're never going to do them. If they're going to take the most basic elements of events they've done in the past and just copy paste them, then what hope have we got for them adding new modes? I'm just so disappointed in that. I mean, I'm not sick. Why am I getting this again? Why am I suddenly getting the intro video? I don't understand this. I guess the event's just started. We were just in the screen 2 seconds ago, but now the event's just restarted. That makes sense. You going to hit me with it again now? I'm not hitting the wishes, I'm hitting this. What's going on? Taking me there for the bit. I guess I can't get into the event anymore. Are you just broken altogether? Doesn't seem to want to let me in there. You guys seen that? Maybe I've just hit Bug City or something, right? Just does not want to let me into this goddamn screen. But this is just annoying. This is just like, I admit, guys, it's a minor annoyance, right? It is a minor annoyance. But come on, tell me, does stuff like that not bother you? I just feel like they're not doing enough. I really do. I hope they've not checked out. I really hope they've not checked out. I swear to God, I hope they've not checked out, because I'll be honest with you guys. When you look at unreleased units, right? So if you go and look at China, who, I may as well be upfront with you guys, China's shutting down, right? People might know this already, people might not know this. Now, I don't think that's a problem for us, and I'll explain why I don't think that's a problem for us. Because we've been getting units. China has not had a new unit for over a year. They've had no content and no units for a year. So they basically shut down a year ago, right? So they didn't get Baddest Jury. We got Baddest Jury. They didn't. We're getting upcoming Bison, who's going to be Overlord Bison. Many of you know him as Trendy Bison. He's a brand new unit. He's coming to us. He never ever came to China. So that means that they are still actively developing content for us, right? At least Bison, right? Because Jury was the last one. Bison's the new one. But other than Bison, there's only 8 or 9, I think it is, unreleased units that have not come to global. You've got Yakuza Guy, Yakuza Ken, you've got Seafaring Chun-Li. I'm trying to remember these off the top of my head. You've got Dark Sakura. You've got... I'll remember them. Dark Sakura. Hang on. Right, here we go. You've got World Champion Balrog. You've got Summer Yun, Yang, whatever. You've got Sumo Wrestler Honda. You've got Guy, like I said. You've got Ken. You've got Chun-Li. You've got Sakura. And you've got Seth. So 2, 4, 6, 8 unreleased units plus Bison, right? So that's who we've still got left that we know about anyway, right? So now's not the time for them to be lazy, is what I'm basically getting at, right? We know that we're getting Bison, who's going to come with first time release. He's never been released before, so if he's got an event, hopefully it's a good event, okay? But they need to be actively working on other things, or we're going to run out of units, right? Because there's only 8 unreleased units, and they release, what, I want to say 3 units a month, usually. So, like, show me that you're still actively pushing things, that you're still actively working on things. I do believe they are, right? I don't think we'll get another collab, but I do hope at least we might see things like a new Rolento. Maybe they're going to actually do something with these other units that are B rank units, because there is a facility to do that. I mentioned that before. I don't think they're done. This is like the only game that Crunchyroll have got that make money. One Punch Man is just a disaster. It's an actual disaster. If you go and look at One Punch Man cost something like 71 million to develop, and I don't even think that One Punch Man has made 2 million yet, and it's not gonna. It's dead. So they're all in on Street Fighter Duel, I know that, and they've been asking questions in like chats of what do we need to improve, what kind of new things do we need, and I've said to them that honestly I think players are quite happy with how this event's went. I think that when new units come out, they need to do essentially this banner but for a new unit. So for the 14 days of an event, the unit will have this. Obviously after the event's finished, you can just put the unit into the normal summoning pool. I'm sure people would understand that, but when the unit comes out, if you do it this style, I think people will be quite happy with that. But the thing that people want most is variation and new modes. They want new things to do, they want new modes to tackle, they want new gameplay. Maybe not new gameplay, because it's always going to be fights in it. It's not going to change much. If they give us new gameplay, it'll be a new puzzle mode or something, and I would love that, but people wouldn't love that. But they want variety. Even if the presentation is just different, they want variety. And it seems like they're listening to that, so hopefully we can start to see some changes. But I just, with this new event being as such a lazy, I don't want to say cash grab because that's the wrong word, but minimal effort. Yeah, minimal effort. For putting in so little effort to the event, it does not fill me with confidence. I really want to see them putting in a bit more effort, doing a bit more. and I was just disappointed. Like, where is this guy? He was supposed to be there. What was the point in building up to that if you're not going to have him? Anyway, just a vent. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Don't worry too much about what I said about China. I mean, like I said, it's been dead for a year. They've not had new units. I think in total we've had 3 new units, plus the 4 turtles. If they were actually really trying to milk things, they would have released those units on China and then closed it. I think that we are essentially now the main version, and I don't honestly think that they liked the format they had done in China. It's just the way I'm thinking about it. I think monetization wise this is better for them, and they've obviously got SCA, who they're milking harder than us. I'm going to mention this here before I finish, because someone in my comment section asked me to mention it. I don't really think I can really do anything, because I think they wanted me to do a standalone video, but I can't. The reason is, when you get to level 240 in SCA, you don't get back all your materials the way that we did, okay? And they want me to raise that because they think it's unfair. But the problem is that what we got, it doesn't matter, because SCA is a different game. It's the same way that TW was a different game from us. We couldn't go to Crunchyroll, Topjoy, whatever, and say, oh, this isn't fair, Taiwan got this, how come we're not getting that? Because the answer was always, it's not the same game. Which, agree with or disagree with, it doesn't really matter. They haven't positioned them as the same game. So the fact that in SCA, you don't get your materials back at 240, that's not a mistake, it's not a bug, it might seem unfair, but it's what they've decided to do for that version of the game. And essentially, if you don't like that, you should be playing this version of the game, which I get why you wouldn't, because you'll be so far behind and stuff. But there isn't really a leg to stand on. There's nothing that I can do to raise an issue to say, oh, this isn't fair, because if you didn't have something in the first instance, you can't have lost it, if that makes sense. So because the getting your materials back at level 240 was never a thing on the SE version, there's nothing I can do or say about it. But I've pointed it out to other players. It is obviously tougher if you are a player, but then what you should look at it like, and I guess this is maybe a bit of a glass half full view, you don't gain that many levels when you hit 240, right? You do gain some, but you don't gain that many. But everyone's in the same boat, so your progression will scale with the rest of the people on your server. So it's like here on global, when you hit 240 and you jumped to maybe 250, everyone did that. Okay, so those levels between 240 and 250 basically didn't exist, right? Everyone would then move to the next scale, which was the same for every single player. That's the same on SCA. You're not getting all your materials back at 240, but no one's gaining an advantage from that. I guess what they've done is they've just tried to slow things down a bit, which probably isn't a bad thing. People might disagree with that, but on global, we're constantly hitting a wall where we can't progress until they take off the artificial barriers that they've put up. You won't get there as quickly on SCA, which I guess for an idle game is actually probably more beneficial. I know it doesn't help because getting all those materials back just seems like such a good thing, but it just accelerates you towards getting stuck again anyway. But I've raised it, I've mentioned it, and that's all I can really do. But anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I've been Hayzink, bit of a tangent at the end there, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out, and I will see you all later, guys. Bye.